Let's get right into it. Here are 8 things that can kill leadership careers before they even get going. Number 1, thinking they know it all. This is especially common in managers that are newly promoted from a team after being a high performer in that team. The manager that thinks they've got it sorted are the manager that's heading for a fall. Because being a manager involves a whole load of learning and a great deal of humility. Once a manager thinks they've got nothing left to learn or that they've achieved true mastery in their area, then it is really game over, and their teams will see that and lose any respect that they've got for them. Changing it all overnight. Sure, new managers have got their own way of doing things, and that's actually really good. Teams love new ideas, they love new motivations and new ways of doing things. That's how businesses evolve. So it's cool for new managers to come in and make some changes and try and fix a few things. But where managers commonly fail is where they try and come in and change everything and change it all overnight. Because dealing with change is one of the most difficult things anybody's got to do at work. It's stressful and it really does impact people. People find it very difficult at times. So turning your team's world upside down in week 1 is going to have a seriously destabilizing effect and is highly likely to turn people against you. Effecting change quickly is a very difficult thing to do. Good managers can easily identify what they want to change as soon as they take over, but crucially they'll plan out their strategy for making those changes over a longer period of time and with the involvement and buy-in of their teams and other people. Because change can be painful. So take it steady, tread carefully. You've got the time, so use it. Not looking for the quick wins. When a team's got a new manager, they're looking for what that new manager can do for them. What can that new leader do to make their lives better, to help them get their results or to help them get recognition? Great managers come in and they look immediately for the quick wins. Has there been a problem that's been bothering the team for years, or have there been those annoying processes that have just got to be just the way we've always done it? There'll always be things that are crying out to be fixed, crying out to be improved or just got rid of. And it's a really important aspect of a new manager's role to be able to come in, identify some of these problems and see what they can knock off the problem list as quickly as possible. And some of them might be a lot easier than you think. With a new perspective and a fresh pair of eyes that the new leader brings, some of those problems could be easy wins. Teams love it when new managers come in and immediately make their life better, immediately improve their day-to-day working. It makes a huge difference and it can really get people immediately on side and bought into the new leader's mission. Failure to improve anything? Well, that's got the opposite effect. This new manager hasn't made any impact, have they? It's just the same as it's always been. What are they doing? Teams can be very quick to make that judgment. So if you're a new manager in a team, what can you do to make things better for everybody as soon as possible? Taking all the praise. But making things better for people immediately is also potentially dangerous. New managers don't want to make it all about them, even if they really have been the catalyst for that change. The great leaders that I've seen can come into a team, make a number of positive improvements and remove some painful blockers, but then crucially, they make it all about the team. Even if the manager has actually been the major driving force behind the achievement, new manager will find somebody else to pin the praise on. Managers who fail often lose sight of the driving message behind being a leader. And that's when it goes well, it's down to your team. When it goes badly, it's because you messed up. Basically, leaders take none of the praise and all of the blame. The leaders that get this the other way around are the ones that fail. Stamping authority. Those that are new to positions of responsibility or leadership can sometimes feel that they need to make sure everybody knows they're in charge or it really is their ship. Now that can be a common unconscious behaviour and can actually be hard to avoid for people that don't have a high level of self-awareness or emotional intelligence. And stamping that authority can really put people off. This approach can turn people against the new manager before they've even got going. People in teams are looking for the leader's guidance, the leader's coaching and help, not an assertion of authority. They know the person's in charge. You'll find people know you're in charge and they'll be absolutely cool with it. New managers need to focus more on establishing the right cultures in their teams, building trust and respect amongst their people, and making the team a psychologically safe and liberating place to work. That's how leaders get people on side, not by using their authority. Focusing on effort. Sure, effort is important. It's really important, in fact. Everyone likes people that try their hardest and give their best efforts to try and further the mission. But new managers can sometimes fall into the trap of thinking that the more hours they do, the more they'll be perceived as being successful by their teams and by their own management. I've seen it loads in my career. New bosses that work 14-hour days, 6 days a week, never take a break. They're always super busy, running from meeting to meeting, from call to call, from building to building. Well, unfortunately, no one's paying you for your effort. In today's workplace, it's all about getting things done. It's all about achievements, results, and making a difference. I had a manager once tell me that he couldn't care less if I worked 2 hours a day or 12 hours a day. All he was going to judge me on would be my ability to deliver. And that was a real boost for my confidence. And it forced me to make sure that I was being efficient with my own time, my own work, and that I was focusing my efforts and energy in the right areas. So as a new manager, don't fall into the trap of thinking just because you're working really hard, that you're being successful. What are you actually getting done? What deliveries are you achieving? What are your results? The modern workplace is totally results driven. And while everyone loves a trier, they love a deliverer even more. They get comfortable. Now, I've seen this one kill careers big time. A manager comes in, does things right from the start, gets some great results, and then it's all looking good, and it's really good for quite a while actually. But then the manager starts enjoying this life too much. They lose sight of their goals, they don't track their mission, and before they know it, they're clinging to those past glories like trophies of the past. These managers have forgotten to innovate. They've lost their ability to keep learning and to keep pushing out of the comfort zone. And before they know it, the corporate world and the mission of the company has started to leave them and leave their team behind. Companies move really fast these days. Change is happening all the time. And while achievements are great, and most certainly should be celebrated, they don't last long. Great managers nail their achievements, celebrate the wins, and then move on to the next challenge. Looking back on that shiny achievement a few years ago isn't going to be much good for the future. You know when you go out for dinner and the place has a sign on the door saying Restaurant of the Year 1985, right? Well, you know that place isn't going to be all over what's needed right now because they're still thinking of past glories. So as a new manager, always have an eye on progress. Are you and your people moving forwards? Do you have a culture of self-learning in your organization and your teams? Do you challenge people to get out of their comfort zone? Because once you get cozy, then that should be the sign to shake things up. Thinking they are indispensable. If you've been studying the art of leadership and putting all your learning into practice, there's a good chance that with a bit of luck you found yourself in a good position. And there are many leaders that have risen through the ranks at their companies and provided a great deal of value. They're the real drivers of the mission. They're inspiring and they're effective. In fact, you can't imagine a company without these people. And that is where the problems start. Sometimes these leaders can start believing their own publicity. They might start to read their own headlines and start to feel, well, super important. This inflated self of self-importance can turn into arrogance very quickly, and then the deterioration of relationships, and well, that leader just isn't what they used to be. Keeping a sense of perspective and humility is absolutely vital for leaders. Once they think they've got it nailed, well, that's when ego can take over, and once that happens, it can be a slippery slope to ruin. Great leaders are always self-aware enough to not get freaked out when things are going badly, but they also don't get carried away with their successes. If you want to know more about being a great people manager, check this video. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.